Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. We're talking about the Tennessee Justice Bus. Essentially, this is a law office on wheels going all over the state of Tennessee, and it's providing legal help. And how did it start? How is it funded? What can you expect from it? Those are the questions we are asking. We have our guest, Anne-Louise Wirthlin, with the Tennessee State Court. She is the Office of Access, Innovation, Community Engagement. So this is a long title.
ACE.
So that's an important title.
Yes.
And then there is the pro bono coordinator, also Tennessee State Court, Savannah, Quintero. So thank you both for being here. We have some calls. We'll get to those in a moment. But as we went to break, I was asking what realistically could be done. And so what are some, you walk up at the state fair maybe or whatever, or the county fair, and you have a problem with what? What could this bus help with?
Generally, we're going to be helping with civil legal questions, things that don't involve a crime. So if you're being evicted, if you are being sued by a credit card company, if you have a child support issue or child custody issue, again, anything that doesn't involve a crime, the attorneys that either staff or volunteer are going to be able to help with. Now, we also can help with things like expungements, and then voters' restoration rights and driver's license reinstatement. But it just depends on what event we've been asked to come to. The services may vary a little bit, but at the state fair, it would be, again, that sort of general civil legal needs and issues, as we have the Wi-Fi. So if you needed to, again, check the status of your driver's license, we could go onto the state's website, pull that up. If you needed to look up something about child support, we could do that there. If you needed a court form for some reason, perhaps you need a divorce or something like that, parenting plan, all those forms are available online. So we could pull that up and you could either print those, we'll definitely print those out right there, or in some instances, if the form was fillable, you could fill it out and then print it right there. A lot of times we're just listening, like Savannah mentioned, and just helping people to triage and navigate what's the priority, what do you need to do quickly, what is sort of a longer term goal, and just helping them plan their strategy for how they're going to move forward.
And interesting what Savannah said about with the criminal case, and you're not going to be talking about that, you would get a court-appointed attorney. With this, in a civil case, you don't get that. And so people are kind of out there on their own and they don't know what's going on sometimes. That's a big help. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Fred. Hello, Fred.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Well, I appreciate you taking the call, and you know, I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with Tennessee and the lack of protection for tenants in this state. Now that the epidemic is in full swing of housing not being available, and the good people that are trying to pay rent cannot get any tenant protection, you know, why can't the state do something to help with these people? That all these comments are being made right now probably could help a lot of these people if the state could just step in and say, look, you know, we got to treat these people right. You know, you're late one day, and they can get a summons for you and kick you out.
Right.
I mean, it's not human. It's not right.
All right, well, Fred, all right, thank you. Let's talk about that. And you've been on a couple of times, and we were talking about some of those issues, tenant issues, in the midst of the pandemic.
Right.
Now, a lot of those safeguards are gone. Maybe they're all gone. I don't know. But things are back to, I guess, normal. And so what you hear, he's lack of protection for tenants. That's his concern. What about that?
And that evictions has always been a huge problem. The pandemic just made it even bigger, sadly. There are, and that we know of, some courts who really got creative during some of this. And I think across the country, sort of evictions diversions type of courts are becoming very popular, trying to keep people in their housing, or at least keep that eviction off of their housing record so that doesn't affect them when they try to go and rent another place. I'm not certain about all the safeguards that are in place. Savannah, do you have, I know you've been to some clinics recently, and I don't know if some housing issues came up while you were at some of those.
The thing that I think would be important for tenants to know, and this is a protection you do have in place, is you do need to go to court in order for your landlord to make you leave. And I think that's something that you probably echoed multiple times when you were on last, but that's something that's really, really important. I think just basics for tenants to understand is you do need to go to court in order for a landlord to make you leave. The other thing that I would maybe like to point to is that Davidson and Hamilton counties have gotten some grants recently to do some kind of cool stuff in the courts with regard to eviction defense. So kind of look forward to seeing where they go and where they lead the state courts in this realm.
And this is something that this bus will probably be dealing with. I mean, somebody could come with a specific concern and I guess just get some basic advice, right? Yeah. I mean, because the evictions are a huge thing. When we talk about civil, that's a big part of civil.
It is.
Is that right? And we'll go ahead, yeah.
Well, and I was just going to say that's something that if Fred knows someone that's being evicted, I would really want that friend to come and see us on the bus so that we could give them personalized advice on how to proceed based on their situation, because there may be protections that they're not aware of that a lawyer could kind of inform them of.
And there are different things going on in different counties. Davidson County might have something that a smaller county doesn't have.
Exactly.
And there are different things. Okay, Fred, thank you. Thank you for that call. Let me go to the next call here. Dana? Dana, are you there?
I am.
Go right ahead.
How do we go about getting more attorneys for special education when abuse is taking place?
Abuse in the school is that what you mean? And
yes, by staff and by students as well.
Wow.
I have been fighting for a year, and I have went everywhere that I know, and either the special education attorneys are either full or I'm just not getting the right one. But I don't know where else to turn. If you go to certain offices, your mayor, your senator, the school board, they're going to tell you to fill out a complaint form. Once you fill out that complaint form in a small community, because it's already happened once, they retaliate against your child. And your child's already suffering. And this child already has 6 disabilities and now has more put on its plate. Where do you go? Where do you turn? Who's there to help your child?
All right, thank you. Boy, we talk about lack of legal help here. We get 2 calls right off the bat. Who wants to take that as best you can?
I want her to talk to a lawyer really badly. And I will say, I don't know if Dana's had the opportunity to call her local legal aid society, but those are people that I would really encourage her to talk to. And that information is Google Legal Aid Society, and that number should pop up. That's also something that, again, I think the bus, we can bring the bus to, a neighborhood or somewhere close to Dana, where, she could sit down with an attorney and kind of talk about everything that's happened in her kids' school situation and just kind of get some advice. I really want her to talk to a lawyer.
Yeah. It's so hard to get people in front of a lawyer. It costs money often, or legal aid is an option, but it's very hard even there. They're backed up.
There's not enough attorneys to meet the need at legal aid. There are some other resources which I know we promoted when we were on for the evictions during the pandemic that people can access when the bus is not going to be near them. But help4tn.org is a really important resource. It's a website where you can find legal information, but it also will give you a portal to where you could access a way you could email attorneys for free and get legal advice that way if you qualify. There also is a corresponding legal information helpline that is free for everybody, regardless of your income or assets, and it is staffed by attorneys. So they can help when and if the bus is not going to be in your area, or if you live a few counties over from your local legal aid, so getting their transportation is just an issue. Those would be resources I would also suggest to somebody, just again to get that ear to listen to them and help them.
And for Dana, so what do you, Dana, I hope that helps you. So hopefully the number, the organizations you just gave, did you give out how to get in touch with them?
Yes, the best and easiest way to remember is help4tn, then 4 is the number, .org, because then that will give you the phone number, which is also called Help4TN. It will also give you the Tennessee Free Legal Answers is the resource where you can email, but you can access that all through going through help4tn.org.
So where has this bus been? It's pretty new, right?
Yes.
It's started in June, like late June. And here we are, and it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
So where has it been, and where are the places you're thinking about going?
Sure. Well, we kicked it off at an expungement clinic in Rutherford County. And I know that's not super rural, but it definitely is outside of Davidson County, and just doesn't have as many of the resources like we were talking about before as Davidson might have. But Savannah's been with the bus on a few other, she did a tour of the state recently, so I'll let her talk about where she's been and the types of events that she's already taken it to.
So we've been to Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, and Memphis as of today. We've done several reentry events, so we'll partner with the American Job Center, has been a wonderful partner, and we'll come and provide expungement services, kind of the legal pieces of reentry. We can provide those legal services alongside their jobs, training efforts, which has been a lot of fun. We just got back from Expungement Clinic in Memphis, which was a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great use for the bus to provide, civil legal advice alongside those expungement services. And then we've just done general civil legal advice clinics. So we can just pull up to a parking lot and run our mobile law office and say, hey, what do you need help with? Which has just been a real joy. So, got a lot of plans. I'm really excited about where we're going next, but that's where we've been.
Expungement Clinic. So what is that? How does that work?
So a lot of what we do in Tennessee, you can't, this is important for folks to know too, but unless you take some affirmative action to expunge your record, even if you weren't convicted, all of that's still there. It's still out there, it's still on your record. So what we'll do in an expungement clinic is sometimes we'll look at convictions, but for the most part, we're cleaning up folks' records of all this kind of junk. Maybe they weren't convicted of it. Arrests, warrants that have kind of popped up, and we can kind of clear those records. And a really easy way to help someone a whole lot, and they're really fun events. So,
and that would make a big difference when they're trying to rent a place or get a job that's on there. That's right. Why can't that just be? Why do we have to go through the step of expunging it? Why can't it just be off?
That's just the law.
It's the law.
The law says that, again, as Savannah said, you have to take some type of affirmative step in order to have something clear from your record, even if it was dismissed, it wasn't prosecuted, or you were found not guilty.
All right. Well, before we go to break, I want to take a call here. We have Wayne, I think, on the line. Hello, Wayne.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I think the state or the government should implement protections on interest rate on credit cards. The Fed keeps raising the rate. They say it helps inflation, but it actually increases the interest on your payments. So people are struggling. I saw one report, this guy's just struggling to pay he's probably what you call middle class, lives in a 2,500 square foot, and his monthly electric bill is $415. What are people going to do? You have a whole bunch of homeless people downtown Nashville, and Landon. Remember the story of Landon? He had a tool in his hand. He had a tool, a box cutter. That's what a produce person carries. A person in the retail. When they're cutting boxes open to fill the shelves, and 9 people execute that man. Landon had a son. Where's the conscience in these blues that need to turn to God, just like all of us do? I'd like to hear something about Landon and all those police that get a guaranteed job. They take them off the street, they kill a man, and then they get paid time off. So that's incentive to kill people. Officer killed a man in Grand Rapids. An officer beat a man to death in
all right, okay.
Louisiana.
So he's concerned about police officer violence. Yeah, okay, and that was a case certainly is well known, the case with Landon there. That's not what this is about. You all, it's more civil. And I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you because you just don't know about police officer violence. It's a problem. We'll have a different show about that, but I appreciate you calling in. I'm just not going to put them on the spot. They're not going to be able to help you with that. All right, we're going to take a break. If you want to call in, talk about these civil matters, go right ahead. There's the number 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.